homeschool homies, it's me, Melissa, and I am here with my husband and Dave and Emily Jones of CAPE, and they are here to tell us all the cool things that CAPE does for our state and for our homeschooling community. And if you don't know what CAPE is, you guys are about to find out. So Dave and Emily, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, well, as she said, our name is Dave and Emily Jones. We've been in New Mexico since 1993, and we went to our first CAPE homeschool convention in 2001 and began homeschooling. Over the process of all these years, we have now graduated 2 homeschoolers and started serving on the CAPE board in 2016. And so we're glad to be here. We thank Melissa for what they are doing with Homeschool Homies to be able to educate and just be there as a support for all the new homeschoolers and even, you know, the oldies that have been doing it. We can help each other. So.
All right. So who is CAPE? CAPE is the state homeschool organization that protects parents' rights for all homeschoolers in New Mexico. If you don't know what CAPE stands for, it's the Christian Association of Parent Educators, which is a 501c3 nonprofit Christian organization. As stated, you know, we serve all homeschoolers, whether you're Christian or not. We want to make sure that we're your advocate and that your voice is heard in Santa Fe, because there definitely is power in numbers. The vision of CAPE is to empower parents to fulfill their God-given responsibility of imparting their biblical values and beliefs to their children in order to influence and impact the world for Christ. So you may ask, you know, what does CAPE do? Well, what I first need to do is I want to tell you what CAPE has done. Since the 1980s, before New Mexico had a homeschool law, there were many parents that considered home education for their children, but unfortunately, because homeschooling wasn't legal, lawsuits broke out and even some people had to go to jail. By the late 1980s, the first homeschool law was passed after intense lobbying, you know, from the few brave families that risked, you know, the potential persecution. During the 1990s, the battles continued over whether parents had to be qualified to teach or whether their students were required to take yearly standardized tests and how that would be administered. In 1995, CAPE was incorporated. We basically started the advocacy and trying to prevent children having to be submitted for testing. We were able to address that. At the end of the 1990s, we had Dr. Brian Ray from the National Home Education Research Institute conduct the first and only professional research study here in New Mexico. CAPE actually presented that study to the legislature, and in 2000, we started to get a very much support and got the homeschool law passed. God miraculously provided, you know, a Democratic senator to introduce the legislation revising the homeschool law, and basically the law stated that there was not going to be any mandatory testing, no submission of calendar days, or records of vaccination. So CAPE has been, for the last 20-some years, been an advocate in Santa Fe to keep homeschool freedom free here in New Mexico. Since 2017, CAPE has worked with the New Mexico Department of Education, because there's been a lot of things that they have been trying to overstep their bounds. And so we, once again, through the support of the Homeschool Legal Defense Association and all homeschoolers in New Mexico, have been heard together, and they specifically want to work with us because they understand that there is strength in numbers. So that being said, what are some of the CAPE events that we participate in? In 1998, we had our first graduation recognition ceremony, and we've done that every year since, except this year because of COVID-19, we've had to kind of do a modified. Also, we've had our annual trip to the state capitol, which is called CAPE at the Capitol, where we have relationships with legislators, and they get to see who homeschooling families are. We also have an annual homeschool convention, which has a curriculum fair, many wonderful speakers, a time just to get together and gain relationships. We also have our fall family retreat down in the Sacramento Mountains. It happens every year in October. Also, CAPE does a back to school picnic every year to once again try to get our smaller homeschool groups and communities together. We also do events throughout the state. So why support CAPE? CAPE works hard to protect your rights as a homeschooler. We give you the information that you need to homeschool with confidence, whether you're a new or veteran homeschooler. CAPE is also seeking homeschool families who need information, support, and encouragement. And we're so thankful for Homeschool Homies that came along and also, because it is a lot of work. So by joining CAPE, you are serving and protecting homeschool families in New Mexico. CAPE has an annual membership of $35. What does that annual membership allow you to do? You get $40 off of our $40 discount off of our annual convention, a $5 discount at the Education Resource Center, a $15 discount off of a membership to the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, HSLDA, also a $40 discount for participating in the annual CAPE graduation recognition ceremony. Becoming a member allows you to get the CAPE communique, hear exclusive CAPE events. And once again, if you've got questions, you can email us at info@cape-nm.org. You can call us, you can mail us, you can join our Facebook group. You can also become a member and receive our newsletter. We also are on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And finally, what I wanted to say is CAPE is here to serve. And how do we serve? We pray for you daily that God will protect you. We will contact you regularly to keep you informed, inform you of legislative issues to keep you alerted, and schedule retreats, seminars, and symposiums to keep you inspired.
That's awesome.
Dave and Emily are here as proud homeschool parents that have done it, and we want to encourage all of you that you can do it too.
Yes, we are looking at survivors of homeschool. Like they have gone through it, they have graduated, and they have survived and thrived, which is always so great to see and to hear, especially when you're in the trenches. You just think like, how are we going to get through this? But to see families like yours that have gone through it and seen the benefit and the blessing of choosing to educate your kids at home through homeschooling is such a blessing. And we're so thankful for CAPE because we do need people to advocate for our rights. You know, I mean, I think a lot of times we don't think about that side of homeschooling. We're consumed with the curriculum or the socialization or, you know, all these things. But you guys do a lot of the behind the scenes work that allows us to homeschool without fretting about those things. So I thank you guys for all that, because really then I just get to sit and go like, oh, like, you know, what curriculum do I want to use, or what co-op do I want to join? I'm not having to sit there and worry about, oh, and I also need to fight for my legal freedoms and rights for homeschooling, because you guys are doing that so faithfully for our community. So thank you guys for that.
With that being said, Melissa, I just want to reiterate, we are only one legislative session away from losing our rights. So we need to band together and continue to stay for the rights that we have.
And regardless of, like you said, you know, like faith-based or secular, like you guys fight for the rights of homeschoolers. It's not just the faith-based homeschoolers. It's for the rights of homeschoolers altogether. And so this is something that we all need to band together on, that we all need to unite on, because we want to be able to have the choices of how to parent our children and how to educate our children. And we can do that through joining you guys in your work there in Santa Fe. So yes, thank you guys for that. And thank you guys so much for being willing to hop on and join us for this short little interview. And if you guys have more questions about CAPE, you can go to their website, you can go to their Facebook page. We will put links in the comments for all those things. And if you have questions, go ahead and drop the questions in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer those things. And we just want to thank Dave and Emily for their hard work, their faithful work for the homeschooling community here in all of New Mexico. It's not just Albuquerque. They work across the state to fight for our rights and our freedoms as homeschoolers. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.